Hi everybody, here is your second math video for today. So this is your week 1 new work packet. So the new means that it's material that we haven't actually done in class yet. So it'll be brand new stuff. I'm gonna actually skip this page with the colorful things and we'll come back to that. It kind of has a lot of what we're trying to get at here today. So this whole page is just like a big story problem. I'm gonna read it and then we will, hopefully you've tried it already, and I'll show you what it would look like another way to try it. So here's the story. A 5th grade class split up into 4 groups to go to different field trips around Boston. The school provided a lunch of submarine sandwiches for each group. So I put a picture of a sub sandwich here. Those are those long sandwiches. Usually it's more than enough for one person, especially the big ones. When they stopped for lunch, the subs were cut up and shared as follows. 4 people went to the Museum of Fine Arts and they shared 3 subs equally. 5 people went to the Science Museum and they shared 4 subs equally. 8 people went to the House of Blues and they shared 7 subs equally. 5 people went to the Children's Museum and they shared 3 subs equally. When they returned from their field trips, the students began to argue that the splitting of the sandwiches had not been fair. They thought that some students got more to eat than others. Were they right, or did everyone get the same amount? I want you to pause the video here if you haven't done this problem yet. I want you to think about it a little bit, come up with an idea, write that down right here in the margins here. You can type it into Google Classroom too so I can see what you're thinking. And then try to do some of this work on your own before you go any further. There's also one other thing I want to show you. I made a mistake. Surprise, surprise. So on the next page is the space for you to do some of the work for this problem. And you're going to see that in the Science Museum, it says 4 students share 5 subs. And in the story over here, it says that 5 students shared 4 subs. So that's the opposite. And I'm going to change it on the story here and leave it the way it is on the work page. So let's say 4 people went to the Science Museum and they shared 5 subs equally. Okay, so pause if you haven't done this yet and give it a try, and then come back and look at it again after. If you've already tried and you've had some ideas, let's keep going. I said to figure this out, first draw a representation of the subs for each group. For the Museum of Fine Arts, the representation might look like this. So I gave you kind of an idea here. You could have done it something in a different way, and I would love to see that. So maybe we can G-chat and you can show me a paper on the screen. See if you can split the subs in a way so that each kid gets the same amount. Hint, you will need fractions. Try it on the next page. So what I mean by that is you can't just say like, oh, okay, well, we'll just do like this and this and this, and that's how much they get. It's not very precise. I want to know exactly how much of a sub each kid is getting. So let's take a look on the next page. Okay. So in the Museum of Fine Arts, that's I had a picture of that on the previous page. There were 4 students and they had 3 subs. In some ways, I don't even really need to draw the 4 students. I know those are going to stay the same. I'm not splitting those up. I really just need the subs. So here's my 3 subs. And I know I need enough pieces for 4 people. So could each person get 1 whole sub? No, because I only have 3 subs. Okay, so one thing I might do is think, well, I could cut each of these subs into 4 pieces. And then for 1 person, each of these pieces, now I haven't drawn my subs perfectly, but each of these pieces are equal to each other. So now instead of having 3 subs, I have 12 pieces, 4, 8, 12. And now I actually can split them evenly. So if I have a person right here, he would get like this one and this one and that one out of each of the subs, 3 pieces. But I can't just say 3 pieces because 3 pieces could be any size. So some other person might draw their sub and that might be 1 piece. So that's not really specific enough. So how big are each of these pieces? Pause the video for a second and try to figure that out. How big are each of these pieces? How much will this person get? Okay, if you already have an idea, we can keep going. This is 4 equal pieces in this sub. So this piece here is 1/4 of a sub. Same deal here, 1/4. Same deal here, 1/4. Nice. So all together, this student and then all of the other students get 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. So 3/4 of a sub. Nice. All right, let's move on. At the Science Museum, we have 4 students and they shared 5 subs. Actually, before we go on, I'm going to actually just label on this picture how much each kid gets. So I'm calling this kid A, and he gets this part. Kid B would get this part. Kid C would get these. And kid D would get these. So that's enough for those 4 students, A, B, C, and D. I labeled them. Even though I only drew one, the others would look the same. Okay, so now we move on to the Science Museum. This time they have 5 subs, so I'll drive those 5 subs. Just like at the Museum of Fine Arts, there are 4 students. Now my subs are not all the same size, they're not all perfect. They should be, according to the story, and to be mathematically perfect, but because this is a representation just to help me think through a problem, they don't have to be totally perfect. Okay, so in this case, now we just have 4 students and we have 5 subs. So my question still, can each person get 1 whole sub? Think about it. Yeah, sure they can. This is student A, B, C, and D. They're all good. Now what? Do we just throw this one away? No. We never actually added this to our anchor chart in the classroom, but this is a problem like what to do with the remainder. So we don't need to throw the sub sandwich away. That would be the drop it of the remainder. We don't need to, we can't get any more sub sandwiches, so that would be like adding a group. So instead what we'll do is we'll split it up. How many pieces do I need here? Hopefully you thought 4. So that's not my best ever division, but okay. So now we have these 4 pieces for A, B, C, and D. So my same kid A over here at the Science Museum gets that. Ooh, okay. So that's 1 whole. And again, what part is this shaded part? 1/4 of a sub. Okay, so that's the Science Museum. We know right away. Now we know that the sharing isn't fair, right? Because these guys they get less than a whole sub. These guys get more than a whole sub. But I'm wondering about what you think about these 3 groups: the Museum of Fine Arts, the House of Blues, the Children's Museum. Do you think it's fair or not fair? Do you think these other 3 groups got the same? Think about it. Pause the video if you don't know yet, or if you don't have an idea. You can type a comment to me in Google Classroom or on Hangouts. We can chat about it. And then when you're ready, we'll move on. And then we'll find out. Okay, so we're going to move on to House of Blues. In this one, we have a lot more students, 8 students. In fact, double. But they also have a lot more subs, 7 subs. So let's go ahead and draw, again, our subs. Okay, there's my 7 submarine sandwiches. I could do the same strategy as I did here. I could cut each of these into 8 pieces. and then give each kid one piece from each sub. That would work. But that would also mean cutting all of these subs into a lot of pieces. And if I think about it, I'm on a field trip, that's going to be kind of maybe a lot of work, and maybe the chaperone will get kind of grumpy. I wonder if you can think of another way that we could give all of the kids the same amount of subs. Pause the video. If you need a scrap piece of paper, maybe try it for a couple of minutes and then come back. Okay, so I'm trying to decide. Hopefully you paused and thought about this yourself, or maybe you had an idea already. I'm trying to decide, how could I do this without cutting so many pieces? So I'm thinking about this. If I have 8 students, then what if I did this? Okay, let's see here. Instead of cutting them into lots of little pieces, right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces, 7, 8 pieces. Hey, that would be enough for 8 students. So I could give that to my A, B, C, D, those 4 E, F, G, and H kids. Cool. That means that each person would get a half of a sub so far. But I don't want to throw these subs away. That would be a huge waste. I don't actually have enough to cut them all into halves again. Or not everybody would get a piece if I cut them into halves again, because look what would happen. I'd end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but then poor G and H would be short. So instead, what if I do this? Cut them up a little bit more. And now, again, I have 8 pieces here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Enough for my 8 kids again. Let's label them. C, D, E, F, G, H. Oh no. Now I'm down to my last sub. I wonder if you can think, how many pieces do I need from this last sub? 2 isn't enough. Well, I had 8 kids. I need 8 pieces, so we'll do that. This one will be little, but just think, we've saved that poor teacher from having to make a ton of little pieces. I know I didn't make those even. Hopefully you guys will forgive me. F, G, and H. Now each of my kids gets 3 pieces. But wait a minute, each kid got 3 pieces here before. Do we think those are the same amounts? Well, I don't know. I'm not just gonna guess. I'm gonna be a great mathematician. I'm gonna figure out how much they get. So what is this fraction here that this kid is getting? This sub is 1/2. Okay, 1 out of 2 pieces. What is this fraction here? Oh, that looks familiar. That's 1/4 again. And then what is this fraction here? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces for the 8 kids. 1/8. So if I want to know how much he has all together, I have to actually add them all up. 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/8. Uh-oh, 3 different denominators. But you might notice I have a common multiple here, which is 8. So let's do that. 1/2 is the same as 4/8. 1/4 is the same as 2/8. 1/8 is the same as 4/8. What? 1/8 is the same as 4/8? What am I talking about? 1/8 is the same as 1/8. Here we go. 4/8 plus 2/8 plus 1/8, 4, 2, 6, 7, 8. So how much did each kid get in this group? 7/8 of a sub. We can't just say 7/8, we have to say 7/8 of one sub. They didn't get 7/8 of all the subs, because that would be a lot. That'd be 7/8, 7/8, 7/8, 7/8. No, they got 7/8 of one sub. If we put these 3 pieces together, that's how much that would be. All right, we're moving on to our last group. Here we go. Children's Museum. We have 5 students, and they're sharing 3 subs. So here's my 1, 2, 3 subs. I could do either of these 2 strategies. I could do a thing where I go ahead and cut them each into 5 pieces and give each kid one piece out of each of the three, or I could try to cut them into smaller pieces. So let's see. Pause the video. You try either strategy. See if there's one you like better, or if you've already done it. I'll go this way. I'm gonna go the way where I cut them all into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces for my 5 students. I know, again, it's not my evenest cutting, but hopefully you guys are all going to forgive me. There's my 5 students, A, B, C, D, and E. So one student, my same A, I'm thinking about A a lot today, I guess, and he's going to get this, this, and this. But again, same deal. Are these 3 pieces the same size as these 3 pieces? Think about it. No, they are not. Hopefully you noticed. This one is 1 out of 5, so this is 1/5. This one is 1/5. This one is 1/5. So 1/5, 2/5, 3/5 of a sub. Now we know at Science Museum they got 3/4 of a sub. At the House of Blues they got 7/8. At the Science Museum they got 1 1/4 of a sub, and at the Children's Museum they got 3/5. So your job is to go back to our original question. Was the sharing fair? Did they all get the same amount? For tomorrow, I want you to think about that question and write your answers here on the next page. I'm kind of hoping you didn't sneak and look at this before you did the work on your own. But the next job for you is to go through this page and read all these questions and write some answers in your own words here or in your notebook. There's probably not enough space for you to write about them here on this page. So for tomorrow, I'd like you to write these answers into your notebook, and then our job tomorrow is going to be hopefully to have a little hangout and talk about some of the questions or some of the answers that we have here. Great job today, everybody.